Did you know that Greenland, the world's largest island, was once home to Viking settlers? Over 1,000 years ago, daring explorers led by the legendary Eric the Red sailed across the icy seas to establish colonies in this remote land, hoping to carve out a new life in its rugged and unforgiving terrain. But how did these brave Vikings survive in a land dominated by glaciers and freezing temperatures? What secrets lie buried in the snowy expanses of Greenland? And perhaps the biggest mystery of all, what caused the sudden disappearance of these once thriving settlements? Imagine a thriving society where the Vikings farmed, traded, and fought to survive in a land where winter reigns for most of the year. Their settlements flourished for centuries, but as time passed, the Vikings vanished, leaving behind only traces of their existence. Were they victims of climate change? Did internal strife play a part in their downfall? Or was it something even more mysterious? Let's take a journey through time and dive deep into the fascinating history of this icy land. We'll uncover the secrets of the Viking settlers, explore the challenges they faced, and learn how their story intertwined with the land and its people. From Viking swords to the land of ice, from lush settlements to deserted ruins, this is a tale of survival, struggle, and the forces of nature that shaped Greenland into the unique place it is today. Ready to explore? Get comfortable, because this journey will not only uncover the mysteries of a long-forgotten past, but will also show how the echoes of these Viking settlements continue to influence the island today. Let's venture into the heart of Greenland, where history and legend collide. Greenland isn't just known for its stunning glaciers and icy landscapes. It has a rich history that spans thousands of years, from the first humans to its Viking settlers and even the modern-day political ties to Denmark. This tiny territory in the Arctic holds secrets of an ancient world, but it's also at the center of modern geopolitical tension. In recent years, Greenland has become a focus of international attention, with U.S. President Donald Trump even stating that the United States needs to have Greenland for global security purposes. In this video, we'll explore how Greenland transformed from a Viking settlement to the autonomous territory it is today, navigating not only the challenges of survival in harsh environments, but also the complicated political landscape it faces in the 21st century. Around 2,500 years ago, the first people to set foot on Greenland's icy shores were the Paleo-Inuit, a group of skilled and resourceful hunters. These early settlers, who likely came from North America via the Bering Strait, brought with them the knowledge and tools necessary to survive in an environment that would challenge even the most experienced of explorers. They adapted to the harsh Arctic conditions by mastering the art of hunting sea mammals, fishing, and building shelters from the materials available to them, such as animal skins and bone. These early Inuit laid the cultural foundation for Greenland, establishing traditions that would last for centuries. Their deep connection with the land, animals, and seasons became central to the Greenlandic way of life. As the Paleo-Inuit settled in various parts of the island, their descendants formed different cultural groups. The most notable of these were the Independence I and Independence II cultures, which emerged over time. These groups were marked by distinctive hunting practices and tools, and they slowly adapted to the increasingly changing environment. However, the Paleo-Inuit settlement on Greenland wasn't without its challenges. Over centuries, the island's climate fluctuated, becoming more unpredictable, which at times made survival difficult. Despite these challenges, these early inhabitants persevered and thrived on Greenland's unforgiving landscapes, creating a deep and lasting connection to the land that would influence future generations. By around 900 AD, Greenland was on the brink of a new chapter in its history. This is when the Vikings, led by the ambitious and legendary Eric the Red, discovered the island and set in motion a new phase of Greenland's development. The Vikings, drawn to Greenland's vast and unexplored land, named it Greenland in an effort to attract settlers. They envisioned a land full of promise and opportunity, rich with natural resources such as timber and fertile lands for farming. In their quest to escape political tensions and limited resources in Scandinavia, the Vikings believed Greenland could offer a fresh start. But despite the Vikings' bold and optimistic vision, not all stories in Greenland would end happily. The name Greenland, with its hopeful connotation of lush fields and green pastures, was a clever marketing strategy, but it was, in many ways, misleading. Greenland was, in fact, a land of stark contrasts, where glaciers and ice dominated much of the landscape. While the Vikings succeeded in creating settlements and farming in some areas, they soon realized the challenges of living in such a harsh and isolated environment. The early inhabitants of Greenland, both the Paleo-Inuit and the Vikings, played crucial roles in shaping the island's history. Their stories of survival, innovation, and determination are forever woven into the fabric of Greenland's identity, setting the stage for the struggles and triumphs that would come in the centuries to follow. The Viking presence in Greenland was not a brief encounter. Rather, it was a thriving civilization that lasted for several centuries. In 985 AD, Eric the Red, a charismatic and ambitious Norseman, established a settlement on the southwestern coast of Greenland. Eric's settlement, known as the Eastern Settlement, became the largest and most prosperous Viking colony on the island. His leadership and strategic vision helped create a thriving community, and he encouraged settlers from Iceland and Norway to follow him to Greenland, promising a better life away from the political strife of Scandinavia. The promise of fertile land, which Eric had greatly exaggerated to attract settlers, led to the establishment of a robust agricultural economy in the region, despite the island's rugged and icy terrain. By the year 1000 AD, Eric the Red's son, Leif Erikson, took the Viking legacy even further by becoming the first known European to set foot on North American soil. Leif's discovery of a land he called Vinland, modern-day Newfoundland, was a remarkable achievement, predating Christopher Columbus's voyages by almost 500 years. Leif and his crew established temporary settlements in North America, opening a new chapter in the Viking exploration of the Western world. Their journeys marked the height of Viking expansion, demonstrating the Vikings' remarkable navigational skills and their ability to thrive in harsh, unknown lands. Back in Greenland, the Viking settlers built farms, raising cattle, sheep, and goats, and cultivating crops such as barley and rye. They also relied heavily on hunting, fishing, and the gathering of resources from the sea, including walrus tusks, which were highly prized in Europe. The Vikings engaged in extensive trade, particularly with Europe, exchanging goods like furs, ivory, and wool. Their settlements were interconnected through a network of trade routes, allowing them to maintain economic stability and cultural exchange with other Viking colonies in the North Atlantic. However, despite their initial success, the Viking settlements in Greenland began to face mounting challenges. As the years passed, the climate in Greenland grew colder, entering a period known as the Little Ice Age. This shift in the climate made farming increasingly difficult, as the shorter growing seasons and harsher winters began to take a toll on the settlers' crops and livestock. The once fertile lands that had supported the Viking settlements were slowly becoming inhospitable, and the Vikings were forced to adapt their ways of life to survive in an ever-changing environment. In addition to the climate challenges, the Vikings in Greenland also faced pressure from external factors. Relations with the indigenous Inuit people, who had been living on the island for centuries, became increasingly tense as resources became scarcer. The Inuit were better adapted to the harsh Arctic environment, relying on hunting and fishing rather than farming. While the Vikings initially traded with the Inuit, competition for resources and cultural differences led to occasional conflict. Despite these challenges, the Viking settlers managed to survive for several centuries. However, by the 15th century, their once thriving colonies mysteriously disappeared. The Eastern Settlement, which had been home to over 2,000 people at its peak, was abandoned, and the Western Settlement followed suit shortly thereafter. What happened to these settlers? Was it solely the result of the changing climate, or were there other factors at play? Historians and archaeologists continue to debate the reasons for the disappearance of the Viking settlements in Greenland. While climate change undoubtedly played a significant role, it is believed that a combination of factors, including economic decline, isolation, and internal strife, contributed to the collapse of the colonies. The Vikings' reliance on farming in an increasingly hostile environment, combined with their distance from other Viking settlements and the growing difficulty of trade with Europe, may have ultimately led to their downfall. The disappearance of the Viking settlers from Greenland remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Despite their early success and remarkable achievements, the Vikings ultimately could not sustain their way of life in Greenland. Their story serves as a testament to both the resilience and vulnerability of human settlements in the face of changing environmental and social conditions. While the Vikings may have vanished from Greenland, their legacy continues to resonate in the island's history and in the collective memory of the world. Fast forward to the 20th century, Greenland's political status underwent significant changes, reflecting its strategic importance and evolving identity. For centuries, the island was under Danish-Norwegian rule, functioning as a distant yet valuable colony in the North Atlantic. However, after the dissolution of the Denmark-Norway Union in 1814, Greenland came fully under Danish control, becoming an integral part of the Kingdom of Denmark. The early 20th century saw increasing interest in the Arctic due to its untapped natural resources and growing geopolitical significance. During World War II, Greenland's isolation from Denmark led to a temporary shift in control, as the United States established military bases on the island to defend against potential German incursions. These bases, particularly Thule Air Base, later became key components of NATO's Cold War defense strategy. In 1953, Greenland underwent another major political shift when Denmark incorporated it as an official county, granting its inhabitants Danish citizenship. However, Greenlanders increasingly sought greater autonomy and self-governance, feeling that their unique identity, language, and cultural heritage were being overshadowed by Danish influence. This push for independence gained momentum in the 1970s, culminating in Greenland's attainment of home rule in 1979. With this new status, Greenland gained control over internal affairs such as education, health, and fisheries, while Denmark retained authority over foreign policy and defense. The movement towards self-determination did not stop there, and in 2009, Greenland took a major step forward by gaining self-rule, further expanding its governmental powers. Today, while still officially part of Denmark, Greenland has its own government, legislature, and economic policies, making it one of the most autonomous territories in the world. Despite this political evolution, Greenland's role in global affairs has only grown more prominent. The island's vast natural resources, especially its rich deposits of rare earth minerals, oil, and natural gas, have attracted international interest. Climate change has accelerated this dynamic, as the Arctic's melting ice is opening up new shipping routes and revealing previously inaccessible resources. These developments have drawn the attention of global superpowers, turning Greenland into a focal point of international competition. One of the most striking examples of Greenland's geopolitical significance occurred in 2019 when then U.S. President Donald Trump made headlines by expressing interest in purchasing the island. Citing national security concerns and Greenland's strategic location, Trump suggested that U.S. control over Greenland would strengthen its military presence in the Arctic and safeguard against potential adversaries like Russia and China. The proposal was swiftly rejected by both the Danish government and Greenlandic politicians, who viewed it as an affront to their sovereignty. Nevertheless, the incident underscored the ongoing geopolitical importance of Greenland and its resources. Even beyond the United States, Greenland has become a crucial player in Arctic politics. China, for instance, has shown growing interest in investing in Greenland's mining sector as part of its broader strategy to secure rare earth minerals for technological and military advancements. Meanwhile, Russia has expanded its Arctic military presence, leading NATO allies to reinforce their own interests in the region. With Greenland at the heart of these strategic maneuvers, the island has found itself in the middle of a new Arctic power struggle. Despite external pressures, the people of Greenland have made it clear that they value their autonomy. A 2019 poll revealed that 85% of Greenlanders opposed becoming part of the United States, emphasizing their commitment to self-determination. However, debates about Greenland's future continue. Some Greenlandic politicians advocate for full independence from Denmark, envisioning a future in which the island stands as a sovereign nation. Others, however, recognize the financial and security challenges of such a move, as Greenland still depends on Danish subsidies to sustain its economy. As Greenland navigates the complexities of modern geopolitics, it remains a land of resilience and cultural strength. Its indigenous Inuit heritage continues to thrive, preserved through language, traditions, and a deep connection to the land and sea. Whether Greenland eventually pursues full independence or maintains its ties with Denmark, its future will be shaped by both its people's aspirations and the ever-changing dynamics of global politics. One thing is certain: Greenland is no longer just a remote Arctic island, it is a key player on the world stage. Greenland's history is a remarkable story of resilience, adaptation, and survival in one of the harshest environments on Earth. From the first Paleo-Inuit settlers who braved the Arctic landscape over 2,500 years ago to the Viking explorers who sought to carve out a new life in its rugged terrain, every era has left its mark on the island. Over the centuries, Greenland has witnessed waves of change: thriving settlements that mysteriously disappeared, colonial rule that reshaped its culture, and a long struggle for self-determination that continues to this day. Despite its isolation, Greenland has never been a passive bystander in history. The island has played an important role in global geopolitics, from serving as a strategic military outpost during World War II and the Cold War to becoming a focal point of modern Arctic affairs. Today, as the effects of climate change reshape the Arctic and its resources become more accessible, Greenland's strategic importance has only intensified. Nations like the United States, China, and Russia all have vested interests in the region, making Greenland a key player in a new global power struggle. Yet, beyond its political and economic significance, Greenland remains a land of deep cultural heritage. The Inuit people, who have called this island home for thousands of years, continue to preserve their traditions, language, and way of life. As Greenland navigates the challenges of modernization and independence, its people must balance economic opportunities with the need to protect their land, culture, and sovereignty. The future of Greenland is far from certain. Will it continue down the path of full independence from Denmark, standing as a sovereign nation in the Arctic? Or will economic and political realities keep it tethered to its historical ties? As global interest in Greenland grows, so too will the debates over its resources, governance, and identity. One thing is clear: Greenland is no longer just a remote Arctic island hidden beneath layers of ice and snow. It is a land where the past and present collide, shaping a unique identity that is still evolving. Whether through its ancient history, its role in world affairs, or the strength of its people, Greenland remains a place of fascination, resilience, and untold potential. Its story is still being written, and the world is watching. If you found Greenland's story as fascinating as we do, don't forget to show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement helps us bring more deep dives into history, exploring the untold stories and hidden connections that shape our world. But now, we want to hear from you. What part of Greenland's history intrigued you the most? Was it the daring Viking voyages that led Leif Erikson to North America centuries before Columbus? The mysterious disappearance of the Norse settlers? Or perhaps the ongoing debate over Greenland's sovereignty and its role in global politics? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We love reading your insights and discussing history with our incredible community. And here's a question to think about. Do you believe Greenland's future will be determined by powerful nations with vested interests, or will the resilience and determination of its people shape its destiny? Let's start a conversation. Also, make sure to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our next historical journey. We've got plenty more stories of adventure, discovery, and intrigue coming your way, and you won't want to miss them. Stay curious, keep exploring, and we'll see you in the next video.